done? Well, I better, I began. What happened to the boy? Grahams interrupted me to ask Dubridge. Dubridge shot me a look. What about? It's okay, she said. He knows. I've just told him everything. I tried to look empathetic, but I knew Dubridge could see right through that. Come on, he said. As if he's just going to believe you. Look at him. What happened? She repeated emphatically. He's fine. I mean, at least I think so. I don't know if they brought him back again or if it's the same person, but they tried to rehouse him, if you know what I mean. But you're not gonna like this, but with Father Reynolds. What? But I know, and it's fine. Don't worry, I've sorted it. I got him out of there. Reynolds didn't lay a hand on him. I took him to Father Jack, okay? He'll be holed up there for a while. Father Jack? I mean, isn't that just as bad in a way when you get flashbacks of Ian? I don't know, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Well, he didn't react well, put it that way. But look, Jack will look after him. He's the good one, after all. Fine. But I want to see Thule. I want to know what he's doing with him, what he's done already. Crawley here can come with, see for himself if he doesn't believe us. But before we even think about leaving this town, we need... Well, I need to know what will happen to him. Grahams, the snot, Dubridge began. No, I'm sick of this. I don't care if you're Thule's lapdog. Look what he's done to my brother, she shouted, getting more and more upset. Yeah, and what's Thule going to do? Just give up after all these years? He knows he's facing death and he'll do whatever it takes. Your brother isn't the first. He's been experimenting for years, before Carver was even born. And if you saw some of the results, you'd want to pull your eyeballs from their sockets. He has hundreds and thousands of them all lying in wait under this very town, and you haven't seen it. They're locked away with God knows what. You've lost your way, we all have. But don't push Thule, or he'll do more than bite your hand off. And Dubridge pulled Grahams in, held her tight. I can't stay here. I can't stay here if anything happens to you. You don't know how much more bearable you make this for me. Just please, just leave it all be. Let's just focus on our task. Just, why don't you help this guy find his Moby Dick? We'll do what he needs, and then that's it. We're out. We're gone. I know, she said, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there for my brother when he needed me most. But now maybe I can be. Dubridge could see that she wouldn't give up. All right, fine, go. But just take him with you. I'm supposed to be meeting the line soon. So it'd be suspicious if I wasn't there. And the least I can do is keep his head henchmen distracted. Crawley here, he might be able to look after you. You know, if anything happens. She smiled at him. Nothing's going to happen, she said. Thank you. And she quickly walked out the door. I followed behind her. Sorry, what are we doing? She stopped, took a deep breath and turned to me. I don't know. But I have to find out what they're going to do to him, what the end plan is. I can't let whatever that thing is go through any more pain, and if I have to kill it, well, don't tell Dubridge, but if I have to kill it, I will. But, okay then, well, let's just see how we go, eh? I said. What the hell had I gotten myself into? I thought it'd be a good idea to check on this Thule character anyway, but maybe not so soon after our last encounter. I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to let her kill anyone or anything, but if she could lead me to Thule, then, I don't know, I could get a better idea of what's really going on here. Perhaps Michael might come to me instead of me chasing him. We got in the car and drove to a very strange, isolated house. in the middle of nowhere. It gave me the creeps. What is this place? I asked. Think of it like a door, an entry point to something worse, she replied. What, the house is a door? What do you mean? That the house is just a house, it's what lays underneath that you have to worry about. I don't understand. Why do I have to worry about it? Just stop with the questions, she snapped. You're making this even more stressful than it is already. Just be on your guard. He probably knows we're coming anyway. We parked nearby and got out of the car. The air cut right through me with its icy claws. Oh, bloody hell, it's freezing. But Graham's was too busy monitoring the house. They can probably see us. Best just to walk straight up, be honest with them. I'd say it's probably the safest option. Yeah, whatever, I answered, as I did up my coat and pulled up my scarf, trying to make myself as warm as possible. We walked towards the front of the house and heard voices inside. A woman and a man, or perhaps two men. Graham's put a finger up to her mouth to tell me to keep silent. She beckoned me round the side of the house to a window. I went to put my head up to have a look, but she held me back and shook her head. She must have thought it would be too dangerous to take a peek. She pointed at her ear to tell me to listen. You will do no such thing, an angry man with a soft voice shouted out. We already have. You've taken it too far, all of you. It's her brother, for God's sake. Graham's looked shocked at the voice. Jackie, she whispered. Oh, what are you doing? The conversation inside continued. It was her brother. He's now so much more. You're playing with fire here. You don't know what you've created. He'll find out that he's trapped, eventually, and he'll come for all of you. We have no idea what he's truly capable of. Tim Stockwell is in there, remember? And we all know what he was like. Now, I've been told you fed him a poor girl from the lime last night as well. You're really trying to step this up, aren't you, Thule? Don't you dare disrespect. It's okay, another voice answered. Much older this time, more relaxed. Jackie, this young lad was obsessed with finding you, and I would have appreciated you kept up the pretense, as it was really helping him focus and stay distracted. And he isn't trapped. We've given him every freedom. He has the illusion of choice, but, of course, the Bob inside him won't let him actually be free. So really, he's not going anywhere. We will always end up here, or hereabouts. It's sick, the woman shouted. Hey, stay right there, the first man said. Get your hands off me. Louise and I are going to take everything we've gathered, give it to Sophia, and get her to reveal everything here, reveal what happened to her father. But we all know what happened to her father, said the old man. What he did to you. And let's not forget what you did to him. Before that, I mean, what you guys turned him into, the tests you were running on him, on all of us. You think Sophia is going to help you? You know she's been staying with Father Reynolds. He's got her ear. He's been twisting her mind, as well as conspiring against me, so I hear. We're on a knife's edge of this all falling apart, and you're really not helping matters, dear. No, I'm not helping matters. In fact, I'm going to make sure this town is finished. Oh, come on, Jackie, the old man said. We both know Bob won't let that happen. Right now, Bob is just a bunch of chromosomes or something. He's a myth. It's all just science. We both know that. Listen to me, Judy said calmly. Bob won't let her leave. He won't let anyone leave. Even if you think they have left, and no matter where they are from, Germany, another planet, another dimension, we're stuck here, you and I. We've been given this long, blessed life, and we should be grateful for it, not fight it. Then why, Thule? Why create this abomination of a boy? Well, science and religion is often viewed these days as being at one another's necks. The battle of how versus why. And, of course, which is more important? But I'm someone who, well, I want everything. I want the how and the why. I want to know absolutely everything. It's very sweet that you think you have some resemblance of control, but I know what your plan is. I knew it all along. You and Louise and whomever else you've roped into this cause of yours. You have photos, files, evidence, all you think that you need. You think someone from outside is looking for you, cares about you and the other girls from the line that we've taken for a greater cause? Because they don't. No one outside is looking for you, for any of us. But, Jackie replied, but no, someone here is looking for your son, so I hear. So it is possible. It is possible for someone to come looking. She looked slightly desperate, like her energy was starting to deplete. Well, anything is possible, dear, I suppose, especially in this line of work. You know he's here already, this copper, she said with a snarl, in this very town. In fact, I'm going to share the secrets with him too, and your son. See what he thinks about his dear old dad. And maybe I'll kill him. My darling Jackie, I really do admire your zest. Of course I know he's here. It's all part of the plan, but you can tell Michael, Sophia, whomever you like. No one is going anywhere. Nothing is going to happen. And even though it disrupts your whole plan anyway by killing Michael, I'm afraid that poor Michael is dying. The same disease that's eating everyone up here who have lived such a long, lovely life. This is why we need the boys so much. We have to accelerate things to save ourselves. Yeah? And where is he anyway, this boy? Oh, he's here. Well, in a way. The boy inside him is asleep right now, but the monster within him is awake and hungry. This is the only time we can keep feeding him the darkness. Don't worry, we'll put him back at the Bell Hotel where we found him, right next to your meeting place, actually. There was a silence. I looked at Graham's and she seemed scared. He's here, she said a little louder than she should have. My brother, he's here. She stood up, ran round the front of the house and kicked the door in. Jackie quickly ran away, and the old man, Mr. Tooley, quietly sat down in a chair that he was stood in front of, whilst the other man, the strange character with a thin moustache that I saw at the farm, immediately went to grab Graham's. However, she was able to turn him around and put him in a chokehold, and it happened so fast that, well, I was impressed. I mean, this had all happened before I'd even stepped through the door properly. Inspector Graham's, Mr. Tooley clapped. Ha! Right on cue. Jackie, she shouted. Jackie, it's me. It's okay. Come on out. Jackie slowly walked out of a door with a red glow behind it, and I couldn't help but wonder what laid beyond that door. Lou, she said, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be getting everything ready. I know, but I needed to see what was left of my brother first. I need to know what I can do. I need to help. Ah, Tilly responded. Human nature gets in the way again. I'm guessing Dubridge doesn't know about this little getaway plan of yours. Graham shot a look at Jackie. No, he doesn't. Ah, what fun little games we play. The old man stood up, and Graham's tightened her hold, and the moustache man let out a little yelp. Don't come any closer, she warned. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to get your brother, like you asked. What? Well, you wanted to see him, didn't you? Just give me the word, and I'll open this door at the back of the room, and you can say hello. There was a pause. Don't, Jackie warned. It's not your brother. He's not there anymore. Open it, Graham said, her voice cracking slightly. Lou, Jackie raised her voice, you don't know what's in there. I said open it, Graham shouted. Stepped back, slightly, so that one foot was outside the door. I don't know what was happening, but I felt like whatever was behind that door was something I didn't really want to meet. "Wait," Jackie said. "Wait, please. Open it," Graham shouted. Jackie backed into the door that she'd come from, seemingly some kind of basement with a red bulb or something glowing. I tentatively moved even further back until I was just outside looking in. And, very slowly, Tootie opened the door at the back of the room. As the door opened, I saw a strange black shadow, as if there was a strange, fuzzy gap where there should be a person, almost as if it was some kind of floating black hole. "What is it?" Graham whispered in shock. "What the hell is it?" "It's, well, whatever it wants to be. This is your brother, in his purest form, a living embodiment of the darkness that created him." Is he even there?" "Well," Tootie answered, "you'd have to ask Carver about that. I mean, essentially he's here, but he's also not here. There's a gap he can fill at any point within time and space. He may come back as any of the souls he's devoured. He may just stay like this for a while. He may disappear completely. But he likes to come back here, to this house, to this room. Sentimental, I guess." "Can he..." But before Grahams could finish, the creature moved towards her with an almighty scream. The door somehow slammed shut in my face and I was thrown back into the snow. By the time I got back up and rushed back to the door, it was over. There, in front of me, was a pile of bodies. 4 in total, dead, their faces grey and twisted. One was Graham's, the other the man she was holding hostage only moments ago, and the other 2 were men who looked like twins, and they were dressed as farmers, but they had a much more serene look on their faces. Where on earth had they come from? "Tootie? I know you must still be here," I shouted as I cautiously made my way through the lounge. "Jackie? I'm a police officer, you know. You need to come out." But no answer. "Damn it," I muttered to myself. I tried opening the door Jackie had gone through, but it was stuck fast. Had she locked it? I tried kicking it, but it wouldn't budge. I rubbed my head, exasperated. What the hell was I supposed to do? Well, I'd have to call it in. I took out my phone, but no signal, and I looked around for a phone in the house, but nothing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Seriously? There's just one thing for it. I'd have to drive to get signal on my way back to the station. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? I carefully grabbed the keys from Graham's pocket and went out to the car. I jumped into the driver's seat and looked at my phone again. Nothing. And then I looked back at the house. It seemed to be more sinister now. Was whatever that creature was still in there? Maybe. Could it see me? I shook it off and drove away from the house. And no matter what I did to my phone, turning it off and on again, cleaning the SIM card, it just wasn't working. Had they really been able to put me on lockdown? Was I being monitored so closely? I drove straight to the station and saw Inspector Dewbridge drinking a cup of tea and just staring out the window. He looked relieved when he saw me. "Oh, finally. You've been gone ages. Do you even know what time it is? It's pitch black outside now. Where's Louise?" I started. "You need to come with me to the house. It's this house in the middle of... I know what house. he said, and put down his tea and grabbed his coat. I'm driving. As he stepped out the door, he suddenly stood still. What is it? I asked. Are you all right? Do you see that? He said. I looked out in front of him. Just the bright white snow and the streetlights illuminating what little wasn't already covered. What? That white ball. Just floating there. I looked to see what he could be talking about. The car? Is that what you mean? No, it's gone, he said. Come on. And we got into his car. I didn't bother asking him what that was about. Instead, I was trying to think of how to tell him what happened there, at the house. He put his foot down, and as soon as we were on the road, out of nowhere, he said, She's dead, isn't she? I hesitated. Yeah, I replied. Dubridge started to well up, his bottom lip quivering, but you could see he was trying to fight it. Thule. He slammed his open palm against the steering wheel. What happened? It was some kind of dark shape, some weird shadow thing. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. I'm not even sure if I can describe it. Wait, it wasn't a boy, a teenager? No, well, no, not from what I could see. This has got out of hand. He shook his head, and I waited for him to open up a bit more about what was happening. He huffed and slammed his hand on the driving wheel again. Damn it, Lou! He looked at me and pointed a finger. You know, you better not have anything to do with this, I swear, or... I just got here, I threw up my hands. I don't know what happened. I can't explain it. I'm sorry. We drove a bit further in silence. Daylight had broken now, and time seemed to move so fast here. How long had I even been awake for? I looked at Dubridge, and I dared not speak until he had calmed down. But his anger slowly turned to grief, as his eyes were welling up and his cheeks turned red. We loved each other, you know, he said quietly. We were going to run away together, me and her. Leave this place. I've had it arranged with Thule for a while. Became his errand boy in order to pay him back. Not that it had anything to do with money. I knew he just loved the control. He was addicted to it, but... Louise kept saying she wasn't ready. There was always something. Trying to bring justice to the town, her brother, trying to reveal the secrets that lay underneath it all. She just wouldn't leave it be. I've been trying to look over that monster, that thing she calls her brother, you know, just make sure it's all right, but I forget it's not some idiot kid. It's this amalgamation of things, souls, evil, memories, personalities, all wrapped up into this metaphysical being. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even have a clue. Well, at least he pretends not to. God, he's so pathetic as well. Just like her brother was. Wet tissue. But she adored him. He's been through a lot, that kid, you know. He's passed around the old gents here, like a sex toy. Disgusting stuff. It's Thule, Father Reynolds, Jim Steinbecker, Smith twins. God, they were the worst. Depraved, horrible stuff, but, you know, you ignore it because you're told to, especially around here. And when you get to 75, like I am, and you don't age, you start to believe it. What? I said. You're 75? I couldn't believe this. Either Dubridge and Grimes were completely insane, or this town really was some weird kind of hell on earth. I had to believe the latter, else was I going insane too? Yeah, 75. Well, something like that. I mean, time, it's all relative down here, but it's around that. I was shocked. You know, he continued, you know, we're not even police officers. Excuse me? Noticed we're the only ones who seem to be at the station. There's no actual police here, it's all for show, just to keep the residents happy, keep some kind of normality to everything. It's not as if we go to training or something, is it? They're all Tooley's people. I mean, all of us are. I mean, they may dress and act like policemen, but it's all bullshit. They use the station like some kind of clubhouse. Then how come I was told to come here by my superiors? Do they not know what goes on here? Look, there's only one of two possible ways you were able to get here. Either Tooley wanted you here, or worse, Bob wants you here. Bob, I muttered, but then I shot forward in my seat as Dubage had slammed the brakes. I looked up to see Jackie, frightened, stood right in front of us, just staring at us. Fucking bitch, Dubage spat and got out of the car. He marched right up to her face and you could feel the rage emanating from him like a mist. I could have guessed you'd have something to do with it, he shouted, slapped her across the face. Stop it, I shouted and pulled him back. He shrugged me off. Jackie stood up defiantly. She never loved you, she screamed, and I can see why. Dubage went for her again, but I pulled him back. Stop it, now. Jackie broke down crying. She's dead. Do you get it now? What we were trying to do? She didn't want to run away, she wanted to fight, and that's why she left you. We were going to take this whole place down, together. You weren't even a side note. Arse licking Tooley the whole time. Look at you. Do you think he'd actually have let you two leave? No one leaves. You're made here. You die here. You think you're an exception? No one cares about you, you know. Not even Lou. By this point, Dubage was crying. So was Jackie. I loved her for who she was, Jackie said. Not who I wanted her to be. Then why didn't you save her? He said. You could have saved her. No, she wanted to see her brother. Nothing was going to stop her. Well, what could I say? She saw him. Now I'm going to make sure the rest of the world knows what's going on here. I'm going to keep going with our plan. For Lou. If you want to help, then there's a key for some of the file cabinets in the corridors that I found. I've hid it. Inside her mouth. I thought that would get to you in some way. Take the files, as many as you can, and come find me. You went down there. Did you see it? No. No, in Tooley, it's not even real. Just something to stop people snooping down there. So, will you do it? Dubage hesitated. You know what, forget it. And with that, she stormed past us. Dubage didn't even look up at her. After she left, I gave him a little nudge. Come on. We have to get to the crime scene. He looked off into the middle distance. Yeah, like a real copper, eh? We got into the car and drove to the house. I was dubious about going in after what I'd just witnessed, but Dubage had already sprinted through the front door and stood looking at the bodies. Do you recognise any of the others? I asked. Yeah, he said. This man here worked for Tooley. And these two, he looked at the twins. These two died over 50 years ago. Here they are today as if nothing had happened. We never did find their bodies. Well, now I know why. I don't understand, I said. How can they be over 50 years old? It's the boy, he said. He's confusing time, he's shifting things. Dubage looked at Grams. Sorry, he said. I guess you were right. And looked inside her mouth. Nothing, he said. Lying bitch. I bet she's setting me up for something right now. Come on, let's go. Tooley's boys will probably be here to clean up this mess. Shouldn't we wait for I couldn't think of anything what to say. For what? Forensics? There's no one coming, buddy. This is going to be swept under the carpet like everything else. But I at least have to file a report or something. I can't just ignore this. You don't get it, Dubage said. Think about why you're here. Why are you here, in this town? Well, to find Michael Verdun. Right, so? Then a phone started ringing. Dubage's phone. Hold on, he said. Wait, you've got a working phone. It means nothing, all right? It doesn't work like that round here. Hello? Yeah? And he shot me a glance. Okay, no, it's fine. I'll deal with it. I'm going there now. I'll deal with it personally. Don't need anyone else, okay? And he hung up. What is it? I asked. Something I have to sort out. I tell you what, why don't you head back to the police station and write up this report of yours or something, just in case. Come on, I'll drop you off. What, didn't you just say? Well, I guess you're going to have to tell your boss something when they ask, right? Might as well put it all down while you remember. He was up to something, but I wasn't sure what. I was tired, though, and needed to rest. I couldn't deal with everything that had gone on since I got here. Whatever he was up to, he wasn't about to tell me, and I'm not sure if I really wanted to know anymore. In any case, he was right. I was here to find Michael, who was staying in my hotel. Would he even still be there? You know what, I think I'm going to go back to the hotel, see if Michael's still there. Fine, Dubridge said. Let's go. We drove back silently. Whatever emotions were going on in the drive up had seemingly disappeared. Instead, Dubridge now looked focused, a man on a mission. It made me wonder what he was up to. We parked outside the Bell Hotel and I got out. All right, see you then, I said, and closed the door. I walked to the front of the hotel, but Dubridge was still sitting there, in his car. I waved back at him, as if to say goodbye, and he waved back patronisingly. He's still watching me. Weird, I thought, and walked in. Inspector Crawley, the young man behind the counter announced. How can I help? Have you got a Michael Verdun staying here? It's police business, I'm afraid. Yes, but... Sorry, are you with Dubridge? I looked around. Well, he's not here right now with me, if that's what you mean. Yeah, okay. The man looked flustered now. There was a Mr. Verdun here, but he checked out. This morning, actually. You just missed him, sorry. Right, okay. Well, any forwarding address, anything? Did he show you any ID? Only his credit card. Sorry, I don't have any other information. So, he's here, and then he's gone, just like that. The man I'm after could have been in the next room as me, and just no more. The young man smiled. I smiled back. Typical, I thought. This didn't feel right. Was Dubridge anything to do with this? I went up to my room for a lay down, thinking I could sleep until I heard shouting outside. I looked out and in front of me, I could see police had circled the hotel. Though if Dubridge was right, then these weren't police. There were two of these men. I ran down the stairs and carefully went out into the street. Whatever was happening, it wasn't to do with me. Something was happening inside the hotel. Do I approach these guys as police? What should I do? I decided to play along. I didn't want them thinking that I was some kind of threat. I confidently strode out to see 3 other officers looking up at the hotel. Inspector Crawley here, I said. What's happening? They all looked at one another. We've been told that a person of interest is staying up there. We're just taking precautions, one of them said. I nodded along. Okay. Can I help? Nah, best leave to us. We got this, he answered. I smiled and walked away. Whatever was happening in there, I think I needed to keep a safe distance. I went to another street and just looked on, where I knew the others couldn't see me. There was a lot of commotion. People looking through windows, even people on the roof. But I couldn't see what was actually happening. This is useless, I said to myself. And then, as if plucked from nowhere, someone who looked exactly like Michael Verdun walked right past me. I was shocked, in complete disbelief. Was it actually him? had he landed straight onto my lap. "Hey!" I shouted after him. He turned around and we made eye contact. There was no doubt. I had found Michael Verdun. Just then, unsurprisingly, he began to run. "Michael, stop, police!" I shouted. But the man was fast, very fast. He sprinted down a side alley, over a car hood and into a parallel road, a car almost knocking him down in the process. It stopped, just in time. But suddenly I noticed 3 policemen get out of that car and start chasing him too. Oh shit, I thought. Michael was clearly panicking. I was quite far behind now and could see him struggling to get away from these fake police. He was throwing rubbish bins, shop signs, anything he could get his hands on to try and slow them down, but it was no use. They were catching up, fast. Then as he sprinted even faster along the road, another car pulled up out of nowhere, right in front of him. Michael tried to double back, but his pursuers were already on him, and it was too late. They grabbed him and bundled him inside the car. "No!" I shouted. But it was too late. They'd driven right past me, Michael Verdun looking right at me as they drove by. Not a look of relief, but a look of help. What could I do? I looked around and saw further back up where he'd come was the car that had initially almost run over Michael. The doors were open and the engine seemed to still be running, and as I got closer to it, I noticed the keys were still in the ignition. Maybe it was my lucky day after all. I managed to catch up to their car, and though I was trying to remain inconspicuous, it's difficult to do with no other cars on the road in the middle of the snow, so it didn't take them long to notice that I was behind them. They sped up and screeched around every corner, the ice making them slide along the road. The few passers-by there were stood back against the wall in shock as we flew by. This is so weird, I thought to myself. A car chase in such a tiny village. But soon we were on the country lanes. I tried to get ahead of the car, but it was knocking me off course. I shunted the rear bumper, but still it kept going. Then someone came out from the passenger side window, started shooting. I hit the brakes and ducked down. As I did so, the car spun out of control and I felt the passenger side door crunch against a lamppost. In the distance, I could see the other car turn a corner and drive off. I took a deep breath, and apart from being in shock, I seemed to be fine. I tried starting the ignition again, and what left me in even more shock was that the engine started up. I quickly reversed and heard the passenger door scrape along the pavement. It was hanging by a thread. I kicked it off and began to follow the car. I continued in the direction I had last seen it going, and as I drove on, I realised I'd been to this place before. Were they going where I thought they were going? I tried to remember the way as best I could, and soon I managed to see the car in the distance, parked up at the destination I'd guessed they were going to, the Stockwheel farm. I slowly drove the car behind some snowy bushes in a nearby field and covered the tracks as best as I could. It was a rather lame attempt, but it was the best I could do. It should do the trick, I thought, unless you were specifically looking for it. I ventured towards the farm, trying my best to remain undetected, which was rather hard to do with the bright white snow making you stand out like a sore thumb, but I continued nonetheless. Then as I got about halfway across the field, I heard a rumble from behind me, and I threw myself to the ground. I peered up to see a white transit van rolling across the road towards the farm. I stayed still and watched. The van pulled up, and 2 rather well-groomed, stocky men got out and opened the back of the van. As they did so, the doors flew back, and suddenly 2 women tried to jump out. They were hysterical. The men grabbed them, as if expecting this to happen, and one was put back in the van with the door closed, whilst the other was dragged by the 2 men into the Stockwheel house. It was then that I noticed something even more distressing. The woman was heavily pregnant. Whilst the coast was clear, I got back up and tried to make my way around the back of the barn to the side of the house, so that if the men came back out, they wouldn't be able to see me, but I should still be able to see them. I managed to get to the back of the barn without anyone appearing. The van was just sitting there, quietly, unmoving. I took a deep breath. I knew I had to free the women in there, whomever else was held captive. As I took 2 steps towards it, the men came back out. I dived back behind the barn and was almost certain that they had seen me. I heard one of them say, "What was that?" "Eh?" the other replied. I heard the van door open, but I could also hear footsteps crunching in the snow towards my direction. "I reckon someone's here, you know," the first voice said. "Well," the other shouted from his van, "even more reason to get a move on then, eh? Come on, we've got to take the rest of them back to St. Michael's before the evening. They're going to pop any minute." "Oh, but..." "Hello," the voice shouted, in a patronisingly posh old woman's voice. "If someone is there, please don't hurt us or dob us in. We promise we'll be good." "Oh, for fuck's sake, Chris, just get in. What are you scared of?" I heard a grunt, and then the steps retreating back to the van. Soon the engine started back up and off it went. I dared not move until I knew the van was out of sight. I was terrified. I knew I shouldn't be. I mean, it was only two heavies in a van, but I couldn't help it. And as I sat there waiting, with my back against the barn, I noticed something coming from the trees. In fact, it wasn't just one thing. There seemed to be multiple things from all around. I waited for a bit longer and made out a figure. A human figure. And then, lots of human figures, all emerging from the forest, but they didn't look normal. They were naked, some kind of headpiece on, each one different. I looked on as they all seemed to be making a beeline for me. It was inevitable now that if I got up, they would see me. But it was too late to worry about that now. I had to move. Very carefully and very slowly I got to my feet and tried to keep an eye out for any sudden movements, but nothing. Onwards they came, surely making me out now if they hadn't already, and, with my heart in my throat, I stood up straight and emerged from behind the barn. But as I turned the corner, I almost didn't breathe. For around me there were even more of these people, a lot closer than from the other side. That was it. I've been caught, I thought, but they didn't seem to notice me. Well, either that or they didn't care. Instead, they slowly made their way to the inside of the house. I decided to follow them in, and as I got close to them, I could see that they were in some sort of trance and didn't acknowledge me whatsoever. "Baba, Baba," some of them seemed to be murmuring under their breath. And then I heard an ear-piercing scream. It's a woman in considerable pain. I rushed into the back of the house, and in front of me was the pregnant woman from the van, lying on all fours, and behind her was a man in a white coat with his back to me. A doctor, I presumed. She screamed again and it ran right through me. "Almost there, dear? See how quick these are. Much better than a human birth, I assure you." "Oi," I heard from behind me, and looked to the corner of the room to see a huge black beast of a man staring back at me. "What are you doing here?" But I was cut off by another scream, and then I saw something that would stay with me till the end of my days. A black, slug-like creature was given birth to, into the doctor's hands. "There we are. Lion, could you..." Then this huge man, this lion, picked up the poor girl who had just given birth and had now passed out, and took her away. I stood there, dumbstruck, looking at the creature that I'd just seen come into this world. The doctor turned around and, for such an old face, he beamed brightly. "This one is extra special, and when the boy arrives, he'll be besotted with her all over again. Maybe finally this madness will end." And I realised he wasn't looking at me, but behind me. "Well done, Carver, this is all going rather swimmingly." And I recognised that voice. I turned back around and saw Tootie again. "Inspector Crawley, you really are very good at being in the right place at the right time. Well, or the wrong place at the wrong time, depends where you're looking from, I guess." What is that?" "This lovely little child? How dare you?" "I jest, of course. In the next few hours, this will grow at an exponential rate, and from it will rise an asset that will help us control the boy that you saw, that killed your lovely Inspector Grahams. Oh, how very tragic that she met such an untimely death." "You can't control that thing, surely? It isn't even human." "Well, it is and it isn't. But just like any living creature, it can be controlled. Have you met him? Truly met him? He really is quite remarkable. Such frail, naive innocence that hides his truly dark inner workings. He even has the ability to, I guess you'd call it, shape-shift. There's so much various DNA compositions within him that it allows him to mix and match that information however he deems possible. But much like any dangerous weapon, it is slightly unstable. It's wont to spin out on some kind of blood frenzy, and then playing the doe-eyed victim in the next blink of an eye. It's remarkable, really. And here, take a look behind you. As I did so, I noticed the black slug-like creature had already doubled in size, as this Dr. Carver gave it a variety of injections. DNA. Through the marvel of science and our very own Dr. Carver, we now control the result of what emerges. It's a true technical marvel. He smiled. I noticed outside that these naked figures were really starting to number up now. I wasn't sure if I was making it out in one piece. Look, I reasoned with him. I just want Michael, and I'll be gone. I don't want to be involved in any of this stuff. Tooley laughed. Don't want to be involved, do you? Well, I've heard that before. Many, many times. Just want Michael, eh? Well, here he is. There was an awkward pause. Really lost that dramatic moment there. I was hoping someone in the other room was listening. Could you bring in Michael, please? He shouted. After a few moments, the men who had been shooting at me not that long ago brought a man into the room, his head in a potato sack, and pulled it off to reveal that it was indeed Michael. Jesus. Dad? Is that you? Was the first thing he said, before he'd even looked around, seeing the black slug on the floor and the naked crowd assembling around us. But as he did so, you could see the confusion slowly appear on his dim face. What the hell was going on here? Michael! Mr. Tooley walked towards him with open arms. Well, not quite the family gathering you were expecting, I imagine. I know we've got a lot to catch up on, but I'm in rather a rush. Dad, let me cut to the point. I know what you're going to say. You're dying. I know you've come as some final farewell or whatever, but the truth is, you are always going to come back here. I sent you out with my disease in the hope that perhaps the doctors out there might be able to cure you, but apparently they can't. And now you have an even better purpose. You've made friends with a rather charming young lad, I'm led to believe. What? A boy you have locked away in your hotel? Naughty, naughty. Oh, no, it's not like that. It's okay. Like father, like son, eh? Tooley winked. You know that lad can save you from your disease. How do you mean? When you left, you were so full of vitriol. I wondered how you'd cope out there, but quite well, so I hear. Lots of money made. But not enough to stop death, it would seem. Ah, well. It's good to see you anyway, back in this little old town. You're home, dear boy. Now all I need you to do is just be friends with the boy. Then I'm sure he'll rid you of this brain what's-it you have. In fact, he may even pass you the knowledge of how to live forever. Doesn't that sound nice, Then you just give it to me, your father. Live forever? Well, yes, he has the power to do it. We just need him to open up and let us in on the secret. He'll probably pretend he doesn't know anything, but don't be fooled by his tricks. He knows, all right. I just need you to get him out of him while he's together, like when he's with you. Just then the slug wriggled on the floor. Turned my stomach looking at it. This is ridiculous, Michael laughed. He's just a kid. What does he know? Then Tooley walked over to his son, placed a hand upon his cheek, and slid it up to his forehead before placing his other hand behind his son's neck, pushing his hand firmly against his forehead. About 5 seconds passed before Tooley removed his hand, some weird black ooze remaining like a strange glue upon both of them, and Tooley wiped his hand against his trouser leg. Why are you so sweaty? He asked. But Michael couldn't answer. His eyes had glazed over, and after a couple of seconds he looked at Tooley, and in a very slow, deliberate way asked, Where do I find him? Well, you may need to go rest a while. There's no rush. Have a lie down upstairs before you... Oh. And with that, Michael had passed out. Tooley waved him out as the others picked up Michael and dragged him out of the room. Is he okay? I asked, suddenly feeling very sorry for the guy. Yes, he's fine. I just gave him a bit of a incentive to piss off the boy. It's another little game, you see. I like to test the boy as much as possible, see what sends him into a frenzy and what doesn't. I've no real need of Michael anymore. It was to see if science in the outside world has caught up to our ancient ways, could maybe even go further, but it hasn't, so shame, really. What about me? Why am I here? To be honest, dear fellow, you're here to keep the outside world off my back. Michael will die here, and if the boy kills and absorbs him, he'll be missing forever. If the body is still intact, it will be sent back out into the world and found to be an unsolvable death. You will have your time here, then you'll be sent back without any memory of what happened. Or perhaps some memories we decide to give you. Well, the new you see. Sorry? It's quite a gift. Let me give you some advice, Crawley. Whilst you're here in this town for quite some time, why not just act debaucherously? Do whatever your mind or body wills it to. It's true freedom, and it's yours. Just take it. Dr. Carver here will help you. I turned around to see Dr. Carver inject something into my throat, and seconds later, I was unconscious. The last words I heard were Tooley's. Let's see what darkness there is inside him. And with that, I was gone. I woke back up in my hotel room the next day. I remember still feeling groggy. I was adamant that yesterday's events weren't a dream, that something had happened, that I'd been drugged. I had a cold shower and ventured outside, unsure what was to be my next move. Had I truly seen Michael only hours ago? Was this case even worth pursuing anymore? It sounded like... Oh, to hell with it, I thought. I'm done. I'm going home. And I walked to my car. As I did so, I noticed a shifty-looking character standing close to where I'd seen Michael during yesterday's raid. Whomever it was pacing around in circles and was clearly waiting for something or someone. When I got closer, I realised who it was. Dewbridge, I shouted. The figure ducked down at the noise. Is that you? I asked. Oh, for Pete's... Yes, Crawley, it's me. What happened to you? He asked. What? Nothing. What do you mean? They got to you, didn't they? He insisted. Do you have any idea what you've become now? I've honestly no idea what you're talking about, I said. I was confused as to what he was referring to. What I'd become? I was sure I looked exactly the same in the mirror this morning. What was he seeing that I wasn't? Fuck, he said. Oh, he's got to you. He gets to everyone. You're nothing but a vessel now. A vessel for his thirst of power. And you don't have a clue, do you? I just shook my head, not really knowing what to say. Then he looked behind me. They're coming for me, he said. I turned around to see a slight crowd gathering. Except these were different. They were dressed normally. They weren't in any kind of trance that I could make out. Inspector Dewbridge, came a shout. And I've yet to meet the infamous Inspector Crawley. Apparently, you were quite the centre of attention last night. I turned to see what looked like a priest or a vicar slowly walking up to both of us. I've noticed you and my brother in cahoots, the man continued. Such a good boy, isn't he? But I know you, Dewbridge, you're just using him like you use everybody. Listen, Reynolds, Dewbridge began. It's too late, the priest continued. I know he's up there. Brought him up there myself. Needed to get a few of us together, you see, in case he kicks off. Can't be doing that on my own. No, of course not, Dewbridge spat back. Lest you get your own hands dirty. Come on, Dewbridge, don't be like that. You're the one that's been playing both sides. I think I should go, I began. Running away again, Reynolds started. Don't you see? That's part of the reason you were brought here. You think you're a good cop, a real sleuth. You're not, you're a coward. You solve crimes where you don't put your neck on the line. You're easy to manipulate. You may think you're better than everybody else, smarter, stronger. But in fact, it's quite the opposite. What he'd want with a wet tissue like you, I just don't know. I was shocked. And yet, he was right. I've always taken the easy path, avoided real confrontation. I've never really pushed myself. And he knew all this about me, and yet I'd never met this man before in my life. You know what? I've had it with this town, Dubridge started. I haven't changed yet, and I mean not to. I'm gonna just leave here and never come back. Well, Tooney might have kept you free from the darkness, but you're not under his wing anymore, you know. Reynolds' eyes seemed to change, and his mouth turned into a sneer. He looked like he was ready to pounce. Suddenly, he let out a high-pitched scream that made me throw my hands over my ears and recoil. And in that moment, Dubridge made a rush for him and threw him onto the floor. They started fighting, pushing against one another, hardly moving, yet shaking with sheer force, until Dubridge pushed himself away, rolled over, and brought out a knife. "No," I said. "Come on, stop, that's enough." And I jumped in the way. Would a coward do this? I thought. "Move it, Crawley. It's going to kill us, can't you see?" Dubridge shouted, sweat dripping from his brow. But I stood firm. He grabbed my shoulder and forcibly tried to throw me to one side, but I clutched hold of the knife in his hand to stop him, and in the confusion felt it slip and thrust into his stomach. He took a step back, clutching at his open wound, and I looked down at my hand and the bloody knife it contained. "Oh, I began, but Dubridge stared at me in shock, then at Reynolds, who was starting to approach us, and Dubridge just ran off towards the hotel as fast as he could. "Don't worry," Reynolds came up to me and said. "We know where he's going." Then him and the rest of the small crowd followed after him at an extremely slow pace. "Who are you, really?" I called after the priest. "Just someone looking for some answers," he said, and continued to walk off. I headed in the opposite direction. I wanted to get out of here. This had all become too much. I couldn't believe I just stabbed a man. What would my boss say? I didn't know what to do, and I thought, well, the only thing I can do is I need to lay low for a while, but where? Where would I go? Well, there was one place I knew that no one would look for me, where I could hide for a little while. The forest. I quietly kept my head down and shuffled into the nearest entrance to the forest I could find. It didn't take long. It was almost as if the trees surrounded the town, keeping the rest of the world at bay. The night had already started to come along quicker than I expected. Instead of venturing too deep into the forest, I kept to the line of trees and made my way to higher ground. The whole town seemed rather flat, but I made a beeline for what I thought would be a good vantage point to see if anyone comes for me, police or otherwise. Maybe Reynolds was right. Maybe I was a coward. I mean, here I was, hiding, waiting for whatever was happening down there to come to an end, and making sure no one was after me. It was pathetic. I pulled my coat closer around me. I was hoping it would still keep me warm throughout the night should it need to, but I decided that soon, under the cover of complete darkness, I'd find the nearest car, break into it if I have to, and get the hell out of here, just drive off. It's ludicrous that they think they can keep me here, I remember thinking. I'm not tied to a ball and chain. I'm completely alone, who would know? As my eyes started to close, a sudden piercing blue light filled the sky. I threw my hand in front of my face to block it out and noticed it seemed to be coming from a tower in the distance. Then as quickly as it started, it stopped. "Inspector Crawley," a voice piped up behind me. As I turned around, I saw a hooded man standing there. Then slowly, others emerged from within the trees, all of them hooded. I immediately was on my guard. "Don't worry," the voice said. "We just need your help. We're not your enemy. We've been watching you." And with that, the man threw back his hood and revealed a sight I'll never be able to unsee. His face wasn't just one face. It was made up of completely different faces. Eyes, different shapes and colour, thick lips that thinned out at the end, a sunken cheek with jowls mixed with a rather young spotty cheek on the other side. It was mesmerising and horrific at the same time. It was like Frankenstein's monster, but without the stitches, as if it was put together naturally. The other figures stepped forward, all cloaked, and removed their hoods to reveal something similar. Although they all looked different, they all seemed to be a mishmash of different faces. It was bizarre. Who are you all?" I asked. "We're failures. Sacrifices that have escaped. Experiments gone wrong. People lost between consciousness. All of the above, you could say." And I'm afraid that time is of the essence. We need to show you something. We need you to understand something. Understand what? What's happening here? And how you can stop it. Me, I said. What can I do? Please, just come with us. I followed cautiously and walked beside the man in the front of the group. Where are we going? I asked. We're going to go to our home, he answered. Or what we call a home now. You see, we've all been created to suffer, to live in torment, and this existence needs to end. It's nothing but someone's sick little fantasy, and we are the victims. You have to understand that we shouldn't exist. I went to ask more questions, but he held out his hand, gesturing me to step forward in front of him. We're here, he said, and we came to a small clearing where there were makeshift huts, as if we were in some kind of refugee camp. This is the closest to the edge of town we can get without being noticed, he said. I nodded and walked around, taking everything in. Within each hut were many more people with the same condition, all male. They were just sitting outside, some talking to one another in low voices, but the whole settlement felt solemn, sad. What is this place? From the moment of that last blue light you saw, emanating from the tower, time started at a 0 point. Bubba has seemingly come close to realizing his true power. The young boy that inhabits that being has almost completely dissipated, leaving Bob to now be able to destroy this town and thus bring on the end of days for everyone within it. Well, that seems dramatic. Shouldn't we just leave then? There is no leaving. If we don't stop this, we're doomed. Our brothers that you do not see here have been consumed by this town, literally. They feed off our flesh in order to remain alive. They create us to destroy us. We have but one chance. We must bring out what little is left of the humanity in the creature. We must somehow bring him back. Okay, and how do you do that? Through what makes us human, our emotions. They must be strong enough to fully encapsulate what is left of him before it's too late. What, like you want him to fall in love with me or something? Love, hatred, they are perhaps the strongest of all, but if we are still talking, it means the boy hasn't given up just yet. So we must make sure he stays there, that he's focused. He feels something to live for. Where is he? I asked. Well, right now, he's beneath us. He's been reborn with some more DNA mixed into his being. This time, with Mr. Tooley's flesh. They are one now. So wait, does that mean Mr. Tooley is dead? Yes, said the man. Murdered by those loyal to Reynolds' cause. And now the result of this creature's form is more dangerous than ever. There's no telling what could happen, but we must act fast before it is too late. Well, how do I fit into any of this? Why me? Well, you are an outsider. You're a real human, and like us, you're a police officer. You have certain skills. We wonder if the boy within is perhaps not the answer, as we've tried to engage with him previously, but whether we focus on the more, let's say, intense emotion of another part of him, someone who has committed an act of passion unlike anything else. Perhaps we must engage the evil within him, the part even more despicable than Tooley. We perhaps must bring out the Stockwell part of him, the father who murdered his family. Yes. Please, find out all you can, hunt him down and see if you can save him. Save all of us. Well, I can try, but how will I find him if he's beneath us? Let us handle that. Our brothers can see about flushing him out. We may barter with the man of wires, give him something he wants. The man of wires? If you don't know, it's best to keep it that way. Now please leave us in case someone comes looking for you. You must keep all of this a secret, of course. And with that, the man turned to walk away without saying another word. Not even a please, I thought, and wandered back towards the town, in the hope that everything had died down. Once I reached civilization, I couldn't help but feel that something had just happened, or was about to happen. The snow, the silence, the lack of people, it all felt very unnatural. I managed to find my way back to the Bell Hotel and took the time to get some seriously needed shut-eye, not knowing that the next day would bring about one of the most curious days of my entire life. I awoke to a ringing sound in my ear and slowly tried to open my eyes, but found it painful to do so because of a bright, piercing blue light that seemed to be engulfing everything around me, and then, just like that, it was over. I looked out the window, but it was calm, as if nothing had happened, making me feel more anxious than ever. Was I alone in this town? Where was everyone? I headed down to what was the police station. The roads were empty, the station itself empty as well. What had happened? I tried the phones and calling up any number I could, but it would just ring out. I tried a random arrangement of numbers, even the talking clock, but nothing. Clearly there was a system in place here. My mobile was now getting no signal whatsoever. I was in complete lockdown. Was I really going to help these strange hooded people? Could I even do it if I wanted to? I still wanted to drive out, but I couldn't help but think something would happen to me before I could even get anywhere. I walked up to the main desk and turned on the computer, and on the desktop sat several folders containing information on the town. In fact, there was a huge amount here, dating back hundreds of years, all within some kind of makeshift database. I found out what I could about the Stockwells and Father Tim in particular, about his marriage to Lauren, his mental health problems, the death of their first daughter Sandra, the subsequent births of their other children, and finally their demise. The man, Tim Stockwell, sounded like a psychopath. Graham's had made many notes to sit alongside the research that it looks like she had done. Religious fanatic, multiple reports of abusive behaviour and sexual misconduct. The death of his daughter seemed rather strange in itself. He'd abducted a twin boy, imprisoned him in some kind of hut in the middle of the woods against his will. A moment of insanity that might have been due to his own twin brother dying so young. It all just seemed rather weird. Alongside it, I began to read about Mr. Tooley, but there was little on offer here. He seemed much more of an enigma. There was even less on Michael Verdun. I also found a file simply named Boy X. It must have been this creature that I'd seen kill Graham's, the boy everyone was talking to me about. It told a woeful story of abuse and hardship, an unhealthy obsession with women, and was kept up to date with the fact the boy was slightly obsessed with Kate Stockwell and her friends. Apparently, he'd been searching for this Jackie up until recently. It was all here, everything. Someone had clearly been updating the files since Graham's had died. Maybe it was the other policeman, perhaps, keeping tabs on everyone, I would imagine. Then, as I delved further, I saw a horrible series of surveillance photos of a man in his 50s and a woman dressed in a full-body leather outfit. And they were in a, compromising situation. From the accompanying notes, I could see the man was apparently Tim Stockwell, and the woman, Jackie Fair. They'd been having some strange affair. I guess it's what they called a sub-dom thing. I saw more and more photos of the couple and the woman under the mask, and it was indeed Jackie. I dug around a bit further to find out more about her, and saw that she died, murdered in fact, in a hotel room, by a girl called Sophia. Then her files were linked to Ian Reynolds, and then his brother, Jack. I ventured even further into this hole of information until a loud ringing almost shook me out of my skin. It was the phone. I looked around and there was no one else here, so I picked it up, cautiously. "Hello?" "He's here," a male voice answered. It was the man from the woods, the leader. He's come back. He's come back as Tim Stockwell. This might work to our favour. He's at his mother's old house. This is your chance. And then he hung up. A group of policemen at that very moment entered, shouting, just general rowdiness. But they stopped when they saw me. "What are you doing here?" one of them asked. I straightened my back slightly. "My job," I said back. They stared at me, then one another, and gave a little laugh. "Your job," the man replied. "And what is that exactly?" "Well, I'm gonna find Tim Stockwell." "He's dead, mate," the man replied. "Looks like you're a bit behind. Seems almost everyone's dead here, eh? Why not just have a drink and enjoy yourself?" "No, he's not dead. He's come back. It's this boy." The policemen stopped laughing and looked at one another. "Look, we don't want any more to do with this," the man said to me. "With Tootie gone, we're just going to go with the flow. But if what you're saying is true, then I think you're going to need some help. We'd like to have a go on the bastard. We'll get out there and help you find him, sir." I smiled. "All right, sounds good." They nodded and walked back outside. And suddenly, I didn't feel quite so alone. If Mr. Stockwell had truly gone back home, then I needed to catch him there. But I didn't want to just show up unannounced. I called the number for the house he grew up in. It was ringing, and didn't take too long before someone answered. "Hello," I heard a male voice answer. Was this truly him? The creature everyone was so afraid of? "Hello, is this the Stockwell residence?" I asked. "Stockwell," the voice answered. Oh shit, I thought. Did I have the wrong number? Or perhaps he was messing with me. I had to have a valid excuse for calling, so better to keep it a semi-truth, I thought. "Yes, this is Inspector Crawley. I'm dealing with a case of Michael Verdun. He's gone missing, and I've come to believe that he was looking for you." This being somewhat true. "Why would he be looking for me?" said the voice. "Ah, so you do know the man." No, I didn't say that. I'm just wondering why anyone would come looking for me." "Well," I took a deep breath. "With the murder of his father and all, and with the other murders happening here, I guess he thought you and him might have something in common." There was a silence. Had I said too much? "Well, I haven't seen him." I had to make a reason to keep him there, to come and see him. This was risky enough as it was. I decided to be firm. It's just I find it slightly hard to believe. You seem to be connected to everyone here in some way, shape or fashion. All what's been happening here in this town is connected to you. In more ways than one, I thought. "It's nothing to do with me," he snapped back. "None of it is. Just leave me alone." This was going south quickly. "Well, would it be okay if I came round to ask some questions? I won't be long. I could be there in half an hour, if that's okay with you." I'd made the jump. It was now or never. "Sure, come down," he replied, and a wave of relief washed over me. This was it. This is going to have to be me trying to feel him out, see if I could somehow get a rise out of him, pull on this Stockwell thread. I don't know why this was down to me, but something inside me told me this was the right thing to do, that I had to do this. In hindsight, it might have just been a fleeting sense of worth, of belonging, of something that makes me think there's more out there, more to life, more to this existence, that maybe I can be a hero. And I got the same feeling I did when I signed up to the police force. Maybe I can make a change. What was I to make of the phone call? To me, he seemed quite with it over the phone. Perhaps there was nothing to worry about. Maybe I didn't really have to do that much. In any case, I went down there straight away and rang the doorbell. A man in his mid-50s opened the door, and it was him, Tim Stockwell, the man from the photos with Jackie. I wondered if this was just a cruel trick, that I was being manipulated somehow. The idea of a boy also being the same person in front of me, as if he's physically changed. I just couldn't get my head round it. I looked him over. He was wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt, which made him look rather ill more than anything. His face looked drawn, his eyes slightly glazed over and sat underneath a heavy brow, one that held a face that felt sinister to behold. I couldn't help but think there was an evil there, and to be honest, I was terrified, and yet didn't really know why. He looked innocent enough. But what if he truly was that creature I'd seen only a couple of nights ago? Would I even survive this encounter? I hesitated at the door. Could I make a run for it? No. I felt like I had to finish this, that I needed to finish this. Inspector Crawley, I introduced myself, a slight lump in my throat, and held out my hand. His grip was tight, asserting his power clearly, not that I needed to be reminded of it. Please come in, he said. Tea? Please? I need it for my nerves, I thought, but I cannot show any sign of fear. He'll cotton onto it immediately. I looked around. There's no sign of anyone else. Just you, is it? I asked. Yes. My mother died a long time ago. I nodded and looked around. The place looked like no one had set foot in it for decades. Needs a bit of a hoover or something, I suggested. Bit of a makeover. Looks like it's been years since anyone's done anything to it. My wife, actually, I was jabbering on before Stockwell thankfully interrupted me. Otherwise, I would have had to make up something about my imaginary wife. What would you like to know, Inspector Crawley? He asked. I laughed and kept my cool. I asked him about Michael and showed him the picture I had on file. I gave him the story and hinted at the murders, but he didn't show any signs at all. In fact, he felt rather cold. I told him about Michael's cancer, how they were seen together. He was faltering and was starting to get angry. How far should I even push him, I thought. I wondered about asking about his family, Lauren or Kate, but wasn't sure if that would just get him angrier. So I quizzed him about Jackie, made use of the last-minute info I just caught up on. I could see that I'd touched a nerve mentioning Jackie. I probed deeper, but he became restless, and I could see his demeanour begin to change. I planted the seed, I thought. Perhaps Jackie was the way to go. Really set off that darker edge to him. Maybe he actually really liked her. No, it was more sinister than that. She was his daughter's friend, after all. It was sick. Makes me sick even now. So, with a fake smile, I gave him my card with my, albeit now useless, number on, and gave him my condolences on his family. The weird thing being that he seemed to be shocked by me talking about it, as if he didn't know what I was talking about. I left, and within 2 minutes, one of the hooded men appeared from within a small alleyway and grabbed me by the arm. In here, he said, and pulled me into the alley before taking off his hood. Well, he said. Well, Jackie might be the way to go. Damn it! The man smacked his hand against the brick wall. The boy within him is still strong. Even with this change, he manages to cling on. No, I said. No, I think it may be both of them. I think one had perhaps real feelings for her, a real sense of doing the right thing, and the other, the Stockwell part, is just something darker there, something not right. If you want to pursue the Stockwell angle, then maybe his carnal lust for Jackie might be the way to go. Maybe it'll make something snap. I mean, you've got both options if you go that way. The man thought for a second and shook his head. I can't see it. There's no use. We'll have to kill him, to be safe. I don't think we can reason with this creature in time, and there's no telling when he will fully give himself up to Bob. Wait, quick! The man pulled me further into the alley, and we peeked out to see Stockwell emerge from their house, gasping for breath. Was he all right? He's losing it, the man said. You need to keep an eye on him, and when his guard is down, kill him. Do you have a gun? Well, Here. And the man handed me a small pistol. Don't think, just do it. And with that, he was gone. I kept an eye on Stockwell, my head scrambling to work out what I should be doing, and soon saw a taxi pull up and he got in. Damn it, I thought. And when it started to drive off, I quickly made a beeline for my car, hopped in and started after them. After a little while, it pulled over near a pub, and Stockwell jumped out and into the forest. I parked at the nearby pub and tried to follow the trail. Unfortunately, it didn't take long for me to get lost. I looked from left to right, but everywhere was the same. I would never have had this problem in the city, yet here I was, wandering around like an alien visiting planet Earth. I felt like I'd been wandering around for hours when I heard a gunshot in the distance. Quickly, I ran towards the noise, but after a while I thought I'd lost my way again until I came across a small house. Who was living here? I thought. Wait, I recognise this house from the painting in the hotel room. The one I'd imagined. Was this where he'd kept the boy all those years ago? This horrible old cabin? Then a shiver ran down my spine as right next to the little house was a figure. "Hello," I shouted. "Is someone there?" The figure stopped. It had heard me. Then, from almost out of nowhere, I noticed flames rising from the house. "Jesus," I muttered, and ran as fast as I could. The figure had escaped into the trees, but I needed to make sure no one was still alive in there first. As I reached the front of it, I noticed that the snow had little to no effect on the blaze by this point. "Is anyone in there?" I screamed into the pillar of smoke emanating from the front door. I listened out, but heard nothing. "Is anybody in there?" I tried again. Still nothing. I went around to the other side of the house and tried there, but still nothing. And then, through a collapsed wall, I noticed a room full of photos, boxes, and piles of paper, all burning, and with them a body. Whether he'd been killed beforehand or killed in the fire, I didn't know, but it was too late regardless. I stood there, watching the house crumble in front of me, and strangely, I felt a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I did not know why. I focused my attention back to the figure I saw running off. Was it Stockwell? I couldn't be sure. Why had he set fire to this building? Was it because of that room? And the body? Or was it more than that? The night was now drifting in. There wasn't much time left. I moved quickly. I had to find him and then decide his fate. I ran through the trees, sprinting as best I could through the snow, looking back at the flames licking at the night sky, until I heard a piercing scream. I rushed towards the source, unsure of what I would find, but running nonetheless. And in a small clearing with a couple of tents, I saw a young semi-dressed couple holding onto a limp figure. "It's okay," I said. "It's police. What's happened?" "We don't know. He's dead," the girl was crying hysterically. "We think we may have heard him running in that direction, towards the farm, we're guessing. Please stop him." "Do you see who it was? Anything?" "I don't know, it's just some old white guy. It's almost pitch black out here." "Okay, stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'll call for backup." "The farm? Could it be?" Onwards I ran until I broke out from the trees and saw where I was. The Stockwell farm. And standing right there was Tim Stockwell. I managed to get closer without him seeing me. He seemed to be as if in a trance, a daze of some sort. He was swaying slightly from side to side. "Mr. Stockwell," I said, slowly walking up to him, my gun poised just in case. "Are you okay?" "Yes. Yeah, I think so," he answered, unmoving. Had something snapped in his brain? Had this worked? Was he becoming more human? "Do you remember what happened, Mr. Stockwell?" I asked. "Yes, it wasn't me though," he said. I nodded. "You're ill, Mr. Stockwell. Very, very ill. I need to take you in, ask you a few questions." But this doesn't make any sense. "I'm so confused," he said. And I looked at Tim Stockwell. He was clearly a mess, a psychopath. But at this moment, he looked somewhat ashamed. Perhaps going back to the scene of the crime had knocked something loose in there. It would be a while before any kind of backup would arrive, especially in this weather. While he was calm, I had to talk him down. He'd already murdered 2 people in as many hours, so I knew he wouldn't think twice before coming at me and trying to snap my neck. "Tim," I said. "Is this Tim?" "Yes," the man said. "I mean, I must be, but I don't feel like I am." The boy, I thought. Maybe there is hope. Maybe I can still reason with him. You're... It's hard to explain, but you're like a melting pot, a mixture of people from within this town. You're You're a creation. Then they were right, he said. I really am a monster. You're not a monster. You're a result of everything and everyone around you. They've made you this way, but you still have the chance to do something, to put everything right. It's not too late. But how? And I put my gun down. You just need to... Then from out of nowhere came the hooded men. Their leaders stepped forward. What you need, brother, he said, is a quick death. No, I shouted back. There must be another way. Can't you see? He's still him. He's still a boy in there. He's a demon, the man replied. He'll consume everything. Baba is in there, and he's more powerful than you can ever imagine. We need to end this here and now. I can't let you do that. I won't. And I pulled up the gun. The other hooded figures started moving towards me. I whipped my gun from one to the other. Stay back, I shouted at them. Stay back or I'll shoot. I knew you wouldn't have the guts to go through with it, he said. See these men around me? They are fearless. None of these men deserve to even be alive, and you think death frightens them. They drew closer and closer to me. Keep back, I'm warning you. And as they started to converge on me, I could feel my hands shaking, my voice whimpering, and I closed my eyes, my finger tightening on the trigger, ready to shoot until... A scream was suddenly unleashed into the night sky, then another, and another. And as I slowly opened my eyes, I noticed Tim Stockwell was just standing there, but black goo was emanating from his skin and had begun to overwhelm my attackers. In fact, it was absorbing them. From around me, it was as if they were being slowly inhaled by this black liquid, like quicksand. I could see the leader, his eyes wide with fear. Help, he said, reaching out to me. I tried to grab him, but it was useless. The force was too strong. This is not death. This is worse, he said, as he was finally swallowed up into, well, what I believed was Tim Stockwell. I looked at the man, the black goo having dissipated back into his body from whence it came. I was shaking, sweating. I was almost crying. I think he might have been right, Stockwell said. I think you have to kill me, he said. I've taken on too much. There's something within me rising up. I can feel it. I can hear it. I can taste it. If you don't kill me now, I don't know what can stop me. I hesitated. I was a quivering mess. I don't... It all started here, you know, he interrupted. I know I'm Tim Stockwell, but I only remember so much from his past, but I could still feel what he felt. And he loved Lauren, or he used to, anyway. But Kate, she must have meant something to me, to the real me, the original me. And really, I think it's her that's kept me, throughout all of this. But... And I shot him, through the back of his head, and I saw him drop to the floor. But as I did so, the black goo just started pouring out of the wound in his head and didn't stop. Suddenly it spread, slowly at first, then exploding into the night sky like lava from a freshly erupted volcano. And as I looked around, I could see it, soaking in the snow. The trees, the farm, the sky, everything, it just wouldn't stop. All that white just turning into black, to darkness. And then I could feel it swallowing me up. I could feel the village around us, the souls within it, screaming in pain. And then, as a chorus, their voices rising, together, in one note, one pitch. I could feel everyone I'd met, Dubridge, Graham's, Tooley, and others I hadn't. Shopkeepers, mothers, dancers, hitmen, rich, poor. It just didn't matter. We'd found ourselves as one within the darkness, an inner peace. And when that peace finally was found, we all stopped. And that's all I remember. That was it, just black.
Great. Well, I think that's all we need. You can rest for the moment, Inspector Crawley. Guys, could you take him to his room, please?
Did you hear that?
What?
How he sounded just then. Look at him. He's acting all weird, shaking and stuff. Something happened just then, when he finished. We should take him to the medical room. Get extra guards there or something.
Fine. Mike, can you take subject to medical, please, and have him looked at? Take some extra support down with you as well.
Well, what did you think of what he said?
I mean, that's it. All this time, and that's all he remembers of the incident.
But come on, Charlie, this is the furthest we've got to the actual cause of what happened. By the sound of what he's saying, there seems to have been some kind of outbreak or something.
Lucky we burnt it all to the ground years ago, then.
Yeah, but didn't you think it's weird that this place was so isolated, so remote, that no one has asked any questions? No one. From anywhere. For a whole town.
Not no one. Officially, 27 people have been missing that had apparently ventured there.
I thought it was 28.
Well, we found Crawley.
But he's the only one that an official missing persons report was issued for. The rest, no one cared about. We only know that number because we looked into it. It could be hundreds for all we know.
What do you want me to say? Look, I'm agreeing that it's weird and there's probably some cult that lived there back in the day, but I think they've all upped sticks and gone somewhere else, leaving this doped up copper in a right mess stuck up in an abandoned tower, and somehow now he suddenly wakes up almost 2 decades later and he's all chatty. I've had to talk him into doing this in the first place, that he should tell us what happened like he's reading out of a book so that he doesn't get wind of what we're actually doing here. It's all the rage now, I said. You know how much I'm going to get bollocked about this. Don't worry, I said. Operation Winter is a dead cert. We'll soon get answers because you told me to say that. And now I'm going to look like a right twat. We can't put him in front of the bosses with all this bullshit. And anyway, what if this split personality thing is all bollocks and...
Dissociative identity disorder.
What?
Dissociative identity disorder. Don't worry, carry on.
What if it's all bollocks and he just murdered everyone and hid the bodies so carefully that... Or he manufactured this virus thing, or drug, and it kills people and decomposes the bodies really quickly. I don't know.
Have you noticed he doesn't seem to have aged at all whilst he's been here?
Well, I'd probably look the same if I was left alone to sleep for about 20 years. It's probably a positive side effect from what happened at the incident, no?
But, I don't know. Maybe we're looking at this the wrong way.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Something doesn't sit right. Why wake up now? What changed?
Well...
What is it? Charlie, is there something you're not telling me?
The team found something on the last routine sweep of the town.
And?
George will kill me if I say.
Charlie!
Fine, but you can't make out that you know.
Know what?
We found a secret door in the bottom of a basement in one of the houses and...
And what?
They reported opening it to see 3 large white orbs and then a blue light that blinded them. Then, at the same time, here, our friend woke up.
And behind the door? Where are the orbs?
Vanished. Nothing but a concrete room. The orbs had just disappeared. They've gone over the room 100 times now, but nothing.
That coincides with what he was saying. The blue light.
Look, we don't know whatever really happened, and maybe we never will.
Maybe the real question is, how come out of everyone, he survived?
Wait, do you hear that?
Yes. Yes, I do.
What is it?
Oh, God. What if what he said is real? That he was absorbed by this creature, that would mean
Mean what?
that maybe that's not just Crawley in there. Maybe it's more... Hide! Oh God! What is that?
Oh my God!
I'm sorry.